to respond to the fire situation. The other priority is the humanitarian situation. We have had to evacuate between 7,000 and 8,000 people overnight. They were moved into different areas, and we have deployed a significant number of resources overnight. And as we speak today, in order for us to get control of the fire and to stop the fire spread, because we have fire spread towards the Plettenberg Bay region, we are deploying a number of resources. So other than the Eden District Fire Department, who has responded initially to the fire together with a number of the municipal fire services in that area, yesterday afternoon we deployed 2 fire trucks as well as crews from the Overberg district who diverted. And then last night, the City of Cape Town deployed an additional 7 fire vehicles and crews that left the City of Cape Town at about 9 o'clock last night to assist. We also have working on fire, 12 working on fire teams. So that is 12 times 24. It's a significant number of teams that responded from all over the province. Working on fire, I've also put an additional 10 teams on standby from outside the province that will be moving in during the day as the situation starts giving us, as we see where we need to deploy. We have also moved 100 firefighters and 14 strike units from Cape Nature from their various areas into the Southern Cape to assist. And then also volunteer wildfire services have offered their assistance, and we have asked them to respond as well. We requested the National Disaster Management Centre to deploy the South African National Defence Force to assist. They have made available really 4 helicopters, but we will be responding 3 of those helicopters into the area. At the moment, we have had a lot of requests about the aerial support and the use thereof. The fact is that the winds are at this stage at the kind of level that it hasn't been possible to deploy aerial support, but we are moving them into the area, and as the situation changes, we'll then be able to put the helicopters into the areas that we need to use them the most. We also, the Department of Health last night responded resources from the city into the area. We needed to make the decision to evacuate the hospital, and command unit as well as personnel from the Department of Health responded. Emergency medical services moved in there and started to evacuate the hospital, which was carried out successfully during the night. And then we have also been, there's a huge humanitarian process, as we've said. We've received a large amount of offers of help from the public. At the present moment, what we are doing is we've been given an offer by DHL to move all those resources from Cape Town to the Eden District. And what we will be doing is, as people are donating and dropping food and other resources off at fire stations in the city, where the city is assisting us, we'll then move that across to the areas where it is needed the most. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. It's also, unfortunately, that we need to announce that there's another fatality that we've just received the news that we found a 3-year-old body, bringing the total to 9 fatalities since we've started with this disaster. 34 schools was damaged. But I need to mention that we've got a very competent team, and we're very fortunate within the Western Cape, working together. Sitting around this table, all the experts, the City of Cape Town supporting us, the Overberg District Municipality sent us some relief, National Defence Force, Dr. Wayne Smith and their teams, South Africa Weather Services, that's part of the planning, helping to guide us, telling us where to shift our resources towards. So it's really an effort of everybody pulling together. We now trying to get, first of all, the situation obviously under control, trying to save as many lives as possible, not to lose any further lives. And then from later on today and tomorrow, we will start to rebuild, start to assess the damage. And therefore, I'm very grateful also to have Treasury part of us, because obviously that will be part of the planning going forward. The 34 schools, to assess the damage there, as well as if there's any damage to our hospitals, our bulk infrastructure supply, and so forth. And then also tapping into our social network. Minister Albert Fritz's team is also part and parcel of the planning. And as I'm speaking, Premier Helen Zille, Ministers Grant, Windy and Norma French on their way to Knysna and the Southern Cape.
Very much. And Colin, the team is doing very well to make sure that we don't lose more lives than we have already. But I think from my side, the biggest impact of this is the aftermath of the disaster. We know that a number of people get displaced. So far, I'm told that there are 827 informal settlements affected, and between 7,000 and 8,000 people are now in community halls, particularly in Knysna. Of course, we were now talking with Minister Pradelle that the colleagues who went there today, as he has said that the Premier and 3 ministers are there, will need to assess the damage afterwards and go back and see what we can do, because it's one thing to prevent a disaster, but to deal with the impact afterwards, I think it's going to be more important from my side as the Minister of Human Settlements. So I think so far I'm happy with the work that the team has done, but I mean it's so unfortunate that in a situation like this you lose lives, but I'm hopeful that we won't lose any more lives, and we will make sure that all those people who are now displaced are resettled properly after the storm is over. We will be engaging with the Minister of Finance, as Minister Pradelle said, and Minister Pradelle, to see how do we then engage our partners at municipal level to make sure that those people are resettled. So that is where we are, and I think some of us will be going around visiting different areas from here. Particularly, I'll be doing that. I think I'll be visiting about 7 areas just to assess the impact myself and see what is it that can be done immediately, after Friday, as we have been told by weather services guys that the weather will, clear from tomorrow. Then we need to start to rebuild afterwards. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, colleagues. This is really a very big crisis and a big disaster, as we have seen the briefing and listened to the briefing by the disaster management team. And the Section 25 of the Public Finance Management Act authorized me as the Provincial Minister of Finance to use funds in emergency situations. We are definitely now in an emergency situation now here in the province. And given the scale and the nature of this disaster, I am pleased to announce that I will now invoke Section 25 of the Public Finance Management Act to make provisions for resources to deal with this unforeseen and unavoidable events. I've already asked last night that the Provincial Treasury team over this coming weekend assist us in assessing the scale of this particular problem. Next Wednesday, I will go to the Cabinet and put some proposals to the Western Cape Cabinet to deal with this crisis after we have seen the extent, as Minister Madikizela has indicated, the scale of the situation. But I'm very pleased that we have also now mobilized resources. I have just given an instruction to the international team of my office to contact all the diplomatic community here in Cape Town, all the consular corps, to also make some donations, foods and blankets available to our disaster centers so that it can be dispatched from that particular unit. So I'm calling on all the members of the diplomatic community based here in Cape Town to please assist us in this particular crisis. This is a crisis at a big scale, and we would very much like, as Minister Madikizela said, do not want to further see any loss of life. But for those who are in particular needs, particularly in Knysna, the needs are very big. I have just spoken to the Mayor of Knysna this morning, and we will do everything in our power to assist the local municipality in that particular situation. Thank you.
Baie dankie collega's. Eerstens wil ek die gemeenskappe, gemeenskapsorganisasies, ons aktiviste en vrywilligers almal bedank wat onmiddellik hulp verleen het. En ek wil ook net noem namens die provinsie dat u nie rede het tot paniek nie. Alles is baie redelik onder beheer, soos wat my kollegas genoem het. En dan wil ek ook sê baie dankie aan ons noodhulppersoneel wat 24 uur uit 24 uur hulp verleen, wat probeer om die ongelooflike brande en storms onder beheer te kry. Baie dankie.
Colleagues, thank you very much. We're going to take a round of questions, and if you don't mind directing them to the individuals in the front, that'll be great. If you don't mind, I'm just going to coordinate it from the back here. Can we see a show of hands with regards to questions? I see the people over there, two over there, and three over there. So let's start in that order. Let's start. Let's go right here.
Jan van Newton, a question for Minister Patel. The 3-year-old that died, was that in Knysna or in or in Cape Town?
No, that was in Welbedacht.
Okay.
But that's what in Knysna. Okay. But that's what we know currently. Okay. So yeah.
The second question at the back.
Lady from ENCA, I just wanted to find out, with regards to the fires in Knysna, do you know exactly where these fires are and how many hectares they've managed to go through so far? And is there any indication of what caused the fires at this stage?
Okay. I'm going to ask Colin.
The mic, if you don't mind.
We, at this time of year, the Southern Cape, other than the rest of the Western Cape, literally has fires all season long. So a number of these fires, generally at this time of year, we have a number of fires that start through various reasons. The reason that this was as intense is because of the fact that we had the gale force winds and that was pushing it along. We haven't made a determination just yet on the size of the fires. We can, however, give you, we have mapped all the fires. We can give you a record, a graphic indication of where they currently are. The major problems that we have was the fire that, as we mentioned, the fires jumped the N2 last night near the Buffels Bay turnoff, and that's what led to the closure of the N2. The section near Kruisfontein outside Knysna en route to Plettenberg Bay was closed for a while. I'm confirming, I think it is still closed. And then the fire split into two fronts. The one affected the Knysna Heights and CBD area, and the second affected the Belvedere and Brenton areas. And, for example, the Brenton and Belvedere areas suffered extensive damage, up to 100% in certain areas that were destroyed.
We will be doing those full assessments later when we finish dealing with the immediate crisis. The third question to Lauren. You were covered. Shall we see if there's another round of questions? Any concerns or questions? I think just a further update from our side. We've been told that some people have been evacuated from Plettenberg Bay, 100 people from Robberg and Pisang Valley. We're also using the Go George buses in that area. So, of course, some evacuations might continue where and if needed, but we don't foresee the mass evacuations that we saw last night. We are cautiously optimistic that we've seen the worst of it. I think we'll close it off at that. And thank you very much, colleagues. And again, thank you to the colleagues out there who are doing the hard work. Thank you very much.
Ons kan gou-gou net gaan wys die kaarte en dit in.
You want to show us the maps?
He's addressing the media, giving an update on the situation with the fire as well as the storm that has been raging on both in the Western Cape as well as the Southern Cape area. I mentioned also that Mayor Patricia de Lille will be visiting Western Cape as well as the Southern Cape to assess situations in those particular areas.